What up, you lab rats? This is episode number 83. Today we're talking about how Podcast San Diego went, what we learned, and what we're going to change in our business moving forward. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back to the lab. My name is Megan.
I'm Kevin.
And let's get
in
the
lab.
Okay. Okay.
I'm hyped today.
Hyped today. So we just came back from Podcast San Diego, and it was a lot of fun, wasn't it, B?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Being
Super
able
fun.
to put the names to faces and meet new faces. It was pretty amazing to hear all these inspirational speakers talk about their experience and what advice to provide for future podcasters or current podcasters.
Right. Yeah. I think we were much better equipped this time because, like, I don't know. I felt so much more comfortable. Mm-hmm. I was like in my element. I was like with my peeps. I mean, with my people.
Before I was new at it, I had no idea what NMX was. I just kind of followed you around, and then from there I'm like, just introducing myself, and you were introducing yourself to people that you spoke to before, and I was like, I don't know who I'm talking to, but I'll just talk to them. And and we became friends with Omar and Nicole, and they were like probably the first people that we really made a connection with. Yeah,
it was really cool. So, like I said, we're going to talk about all that, but before we get started, we got to do our relationship tag question. So let me find that really quick. All right, 1, 2, 3. Answer this question. Do you usually follow your heart or your head?
I usually follow my heart. If you sort of think your heart is like your gut feeling, right? Or follow my stomach. I don't know. No. Yeah. But I usually follow my heart. If I have a feeling like I shouldn't do something, then I don't do it. Yeah.
That's interesting because I would say that you follow your head a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you think in metrics and you think rationally and you're like, is this going to work?
I use both, actually. I use both my head and my heart, but first I do research and then I kind of correlate it. Should I do it or shouldn't I do it? And then whatever my heart makes that decision. Right. My heart's like the last thing that makes the decision.
Right.
Yeah.
The last thing.
That makes
it. So we know where you stand. I would say, now I now operate from my heart. I think before I operated a lot from my head and a lot of from external things like, parents and what other people thought and stuff like that. So I think it's really challenging to follow your heart because it's often the most quietest voice. It's like, hello.
But I mean, it was hard when I got into photography. It was hard. What was the head, like what made me make that decision of going to nursing was all the people that was surrounding me and influencing me, and that was just my head telling me, oh, this is like the easiest option, you should do this because everyone's doing this, right? And my heart was like just waiting there for me, just waiting to quit and follow your passion.
So let's get into it today. Let's talk about what we learned from the whole event. There's a lot of, we had a conversation about information overload, and I think the event was fabulous. So let's give a shout out to Jared Easley and Dan Franks for putting on such like a wonderful experience and the opportunity for me to go and speak.
Yeah, thank you, Jared and Dan. That was a wonderful event, and it was filled with many inspiration, and it was a learning experience for me. Just because I'm starting out, and it really influenced me in a great way to have everyone speak. Everyone that spoke there, really meant a lot to me.
A lot of standouts. So nice job. We really like that. That's an amazing first step or second step into events. Like, it was amazing to be welcomed, and got to give a shout out to the podcast community. Like, I think overall we're all kind of like surprised, like delightfully surprised that how supportive the podcast community is.
Yeah.
Like there really is no weird, what's she doing? What's he doing?
There's no competition.
Yeah. There's only the competition to be better. Like,
Yeah.
And it's very friendly.
And that's what I've noticed.
Yeah.
There's no competition like, oh, did you book that client? Or it's not client based. That's why. It's
It
more, it could be, but
it's not really. Yeah.
but every podcaster is different. So no podcaster is sharing the same client or fighting for a particular client together.
Yeah.
You know? They're not butting heads. And that's what I see within the podcasting world and why it's so interesting and why it's so motivating in every, like anything that you have a question for and you ask someone's going to answer it directly and give you a straight answer versus other industries like photography. There is a lot of competition and there's haters out there. And when you try to, like for myself, when I first started out, I asked a lot of photographers, can I shadow you? Can I learn a little bit about weddings? And not a lot of people will offer that opportunity because I didn't have the equipment or they felt like, oh, he may be a little bit too good. I'm not going to have him on my side.
Yeah.
He may take over my business or he just doesn't know the ropes. So there's a lot of that thinking within the wedding photography industry. I don't see a lot of that in podcasting. Like for yourself, when you were starting out and you asked for help and you got help.
I did. Yeah. I think we come from a world where asking for help looks weak. And so I'm so lucky that we're in a community where like asking for help not only builds the confidence of that creator who's creating content and helping other people, like you're moving good shit along, good messages, but it's encouraged. It's encouraged to ask questions. And you guys can always ask questions. I mean, the basis of the show was like asking us questions.
Yeah, ask us questions, ask our experience.
But like, you know, I always catch myself like, afraid to ask questions too. One, because you're like, I don't know how to ask it. And two, I probably look like an idiot.
I thought about this way back in college, actually. And when I first started college as, a freshman, you're freaking scared. You don't know what to expect from all your classes or the people that you'll meet. And I would always speak to my aunt, and my aunt said, don't be afraid to ask for help when you need help. And I'm like, okay. So I just took that life lesson and I asked for help, and you do receive help as long as you're meeting that person in the middle. Yeah.
So why sometimes it feels like nowadays people don't want to ask for help? I mean, I'm sure you feel like that.
I'm not sure if it's like an artist mentality or just ego. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of ego within being an artist. Yeah. And critiquing your own work and saying you're not doing it correctly and things like that. And they don't want to feel let down. So they're afraid of just feedback. That's
stupid.
Yeah.
Isn't it? But like, I understand because when we first started out, it was something like, I don't want to hear your feedback.
It's hard.
Especially the way that you gave it before.
Yeah,
right?
I think it's the way you speak and how you present the feedback. It has to be in a positive format to promote change. Right. And if you're giving feedback not to promote change and just kind of criticize and just stabbing that person and like
stabbing me.
It's a lack of motivation in the way you word things. So as long as you're providing positive feedback and promoting change for that person and make them feel like, oh, I made a mistake, but there's other ways to improve.
Yeah. Okay. So what were the big highlights for you for Podcast San Diego?
So the big highlights for me is starting out with the first speaker, Kate.
Kate, yeah.
And how she spoke about...
She did fantastically, by the way.
Did. Yeah. If you're watching. So it was about fear. Yeah. And, I mean, it wasn't all about fear, but...
It was based on fear.
It was based on fear. Okay.
Was it? You were there.
Yeah, I know. But, I was taking pictures. Yeah. I was multitasking. So I felt I can relate to that because there was a lot of fear stepping on board with Megan getting in the lab. Just sitting down at first, I felt a little uncomfortable having this camera right in front of me, mics in my face, and speaking to hundreds and thousands of people. I don't know where the video would take me. I was just thinking over my head. Yeah. And that was the fear. And I'm not a reader. I don't read. I mean, especially like entrepreneur. I'm more of a tech guy. I just do a lot of research on technical stuff, sporty stuff, things that are in my own interests. Yeah. So I felt I couldn't bring anything to the table in speaking about business until Megan said, talk about your experience and how we started the photography business, things that other photographers would like to know, and our mistakes that we ran into and how we can improve on those mistakes, and also our current life path, our current stage in life and what we're implementing within the business. And I was like, yeah, that's easy enough. Yeah. And I kind of came over my fears just a little bit, but there are certain situations when you throw questions at me that it's very hard to answer. Right.
Okay. So see, this is kind of cool because now I'm kind of observing you and your progress. So this is kind of interesting because when I first started in podcasting, it felt like I had so much to say, but I hadn't had the chance to say it. And so I think that's what's going to happen for you in podcasting. I'm pretty excited. You're not totally aware of it right now, but you do have a lot to say. You do have a lot to offer. And now that you're getting used to the mic, it will become like this place for you to kind of unload and tell your story. Otherwise, it's like it just stays within you. Yeah. And so I've seen like within just the past 3 episodes that you will take whatever you're talking about and like go on and on, but in a good way and it's cool because I could see like you need the space to run a little bit because you learned how to run basically.
Yeah, standing up really helps versus sitting down. You couldn't run when you sat down, so standing up, you're able to move your hands.
So it's kind of cool. I like this.
More relaxed.
Yeah, you're definitely more into it, and you definitely bring more energy. And I just want like other content creators like see these small little things that happen that can change your performance, can change the delivery of your content. And that's something that they talked about in the event. It was like, first of all, getting over the fear of just hitting publish, but then refining your voice, finding it for one thing. I think you're finally getting that. You're getting in, you're trying it on and seeing where you can move with it, and then refining it and turning it into a product like what Omar and Nicole talked about, when they went from a failed podcast to best of iTunes, and they really broke down their show and they broke down their performance and really honed in. And right now you're in this area, this space where you're just running.
Yeah, I'm just running.
Yeah, you're running, which is good. But because see, I want to point it out, not to make you feel awkward or whatever, but to show others like you're gonna have that period where you're going to run, and then you're going to like, okay, now I got my rhythm, and you're going to find your rhythm. Yeah. And that's exciting. So look forward to
child.
That. Look forward to that. That's a great thing about podcasting and being able to share now your voice. And I think that's the beauty of this world.
I believe I found my voice about 2 episodes ago, and
it's crazy, right?
That is pretty crazy. If you guys haven't checked our past episodes, start with number 2 or number 1, and you'll see how I was.
Let's throw that clip up right here. We'll revisit it and just see how awkward it is.
Yeah, I was sweating and I was like, holy crap, I don't know what to say. I would say yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think you've really come really far, and it's great for the lab rats to see that because you're right in it. You're in the weeds, in the thick of it. So other highlights for you for the event and what we're gonna change. How are you gonna?
I was about to talk.
How are you gonna change?
So I mean, how I'm going to change is probably take baby steps. Just like what Kate said, is don't jump the gun and start going from A to C and skip B. So I'm going to start with baby steps.
What does that look like?
Some of the things that I want to do is probably speak right next to Megan.
Mm-hmm.
It was a huge step. It was a huge.
You mean on stage?
On stage, it was a huge motivation to see her speak in front of 80 people. I think
Something like that.
Yeah, but it was motivating me just sitting there in the chair. I'm like, I can do that,
Nice.
you know, and yeah, I felt like I have a lot of things to share, and if I plan it correctly, then things will come out smoothly, and not like this and how we're podcasting and things won't go out as smooth, but if I plan for it, I feel like I can be just right up there with you. And that was the fear before. The fear was I can't do that because we planned a photography workshop last year and it just fell apart because there was a fear of marketing. There was a fear in my voice that I wasn't able to share with other photographers our experience.
Oh, with Eric?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, all these things, fear is just the number one thing. Like, I feel like as long as you have this support around you, you're always going to feel it, like she said. But the moment that you just keep taking steps forward, instead of not taking a step forward, you will eventually get there. And you can always accelerate that by having people around you that can check you, like having a good partner and having a community that really builds up your confidence, that really is genuinely supportive, like the podcast community.
Yep.
So what else? What else stood out to you?
So Omar and Nicole's presentation stood out to me, and how being consistent, in which we're trying to be consistent with every time we shoot the show.
Oh, we're consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how to maintain, like, every Tuesday is when we broadcast the show, right? And other things that stood out is that what your podcast is your product.
Yeah.
And you can apply it to wedding photography, and what we deliver is a product. So our service, our images, and what people see and what their engagement is a product.
Right. And I think, like, the fact that this podcast in particular is all very like raw and all that stuff. So I think we have a lot of work cut out for us as far as, formatting the show and making it more tight, or, we have a lot to do, but we're in the lab, right? Like, this is it. This is the experiment. So it's not supposed to be perfect every single time. That's the whole point. Like, that's life. It's not perfect every single time. The fact is that we are both keeping each other accountable to be better at it. And there were so many points I wanted to tell during my talk, but man, I was so nervous. But at
least you did it.
At least I did it. Yeah, that felt really good. It felt really like anxious, crazy, and I think we'll have put up the video already that you recorded, probably today or tomorrow.
But yeah, as long as you got your experience, and now you can feel like, oh, the second time around, I'm able to do it better.
I can do it better. Yeah.
And now that
definitely.
I recorded everything, you caught all your mistakes.
Yeah.
You saw the things that you can improve on.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm up for it.
It's just like taking that first photo. So
yeah. Oh man. Taking the first photo, like
the first wedding that we did.
Not even anybody's looking at you. You're a second shooter. You're in the corner. Nobody gives a crap about you. And like, I remember I was just even afraid to press the button and see what it would do. And then when I did, I was like, holy shit, it's so overexposed. And I was like, please let nobody see this. Nobody was around me.
Yeah.
I remember that so clearly. We were shooting some of your friends or whatever in Laguna Beach, and I was just trying to figure it out. It was so quiet.
It was very hard. It was very challenging.
Yeah. Main takeaways for me were, everything that you talked about, and I felt like I was just in my zone, and I feel like at 28, finally, I feel like I'm where I belong. I'm where I belong. So
when I'm 28, which is in several days.
Yeah, you're gonna catch up.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do something cool, something special. But yeah, that was amazing. It was amazing. I'm like still kind of in awe that it happened, because you think it's gonna be something, and then you have some sort of expectation, and then it blows your expectations away. So I'm just really grateful for that. I think we're super lucky to be a part of this podcast movement. So
yeah, I'm lucky to have met everyone there.
Yeah. So things that we're going to change, we're going to try to I think this show was probably the loosest show ever, but it's basically just a rundown of what we learned and what we experienced during that. And that was the first of its kind as far as a small, not intimate, but it's relatively small podcast conference and meetup and things like that. So I'm really glad to be a part of it. I think this is something special, and like we should kind of rejoice in everything that's gonna go, that's gonna form from this kind of podcast movement. So I want to share a resource really quick by my friend Josh Trent at Wellness Force. He created a rundown of all of the plugins, the tools, everything that everybody talked about, all the speakers. And linked it all up, as well as all of the speakers, including myself, as far as to what we were offering. So I was offering, if you wanted to add video to your podcast, that I would, give away some of my free time to help those out who were serious about doing that. So you'll find all of that stuff on his page. You'll also find a lot of other helpful resources. So a shout out to Josh. Okay. Lastly, guys, so VEDA is starting. That's Vlog Every Day in April. That starts on Wednesday. If you want to vlog with me and do it with our little lab rat community, a little project that we're doing called B2C VEDA, Beginner to Creator, you can go to this link right here in the description, wherever that is, and sign up there for free. You can also join the inspiration for this, which was Amy Schmidauer's SSSVEDA, Savvy Sexy Social VEDA. And that will be linked in the description as well. So basically, the point of VEDA is to get to know other vloggers, join that community, ask questions, all that kind of biz. And I think because it's like an event. Like you if you don't know anything, or you're a beginner or whatever, like even if you're advanced, I don't know, there's levels, but even whatever level that you're at in this game of content creation and whatever you're doing for yourself online, you need community. That's it. You need community. Events are a place to relish in the positive effects of community. And VEDA is just another outlet for that, another reach, another leg to stand on, basically.
Cool.
So, you want to do VEDA with me?
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay, it's cool. See, the podcast, see what being public can do. So, anything else you want? Any finishing thoughts? Last thoughts?
Are these shirts available?
Oh, these shirts are available. Yeah, we check it. This is our lab rat tee.
Pretty dope design.
There you go. Happy birthday.
Thanks. That was it, huh?
It's a tight ship. So this is a Razorback. I really love it.
Yeah, I like this. It's comfortable.
Yeah, I designed it myself.
Pretty
So
cool.
anyway, yeah. If you want to wear this and be a lab rat, you'll find it in the description. All right. So, I think that's it. So tomorrow we'll see you on the dailies with me on the Throwback Thursday episode. You always throw it back to something. All right. So once again, my name is Megan.
I'm Kevin.
Reminding you to get in the lab. We'll see ya.
We out.